Welcome to New York. Once the site of barren fields and crap, now it's a city straight out of a science fiction story. They say if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Not sure if that's true. If you've ever been in the industrial plant, you know what I mean. But you gotta be tough to live here. You gotta be extra tough to win here, too. It's not just ordinary challenges that we face this week. It's mysterious opponents like the Men in Black or an open contract. It's motivated killers like Matt Riddle, Igris, and Kurt Andrews. And it's history, too. Lancelot, Omega Woods, and Santanico will fight for the Raw title in the main event. Conor McGregor and CM Punk step into a steel cage. Will Ospreay tries to bring one promotion's title here, but he might end up with two. One of which isn't even a championship anymore, but apparently that only matters to me. So yes, Battle at Broadway is more than just an event. It's a landmark in the Empire State. GAW is here, New York. I hope you're prepared. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Empire State, welcome to New York, welcome to the Manhattan Center, welcome to Battle at Broadway. And we begin with the man who has made a habit of putting on Match of the Year candidates night after night. It's Intercontinental Champion Chris Sabin, and tonight he goes one-on-one with Matt Riddle. But that is just the tip of the iceberg. In prime time here, we've got Yamamoto versus Caitlin Dunlap for the Rise title. We've got Claudio Castagnoli taking on the Men in Black as well. Black will not be out to help Matt Riddle. He obviously didn't come out with him. I don't think we'll see him out here. Black has been making many warnings about expanding the House of Black. I'm still not sure what that means. Maybe it does have something to do with this, but all we can assume for now is that Matt Riddle is on his own here against Chris Sabin, who has been just a dominant Intercontinental Champion, and while doing so, has put on some of the best matches of the year on Friday Night Storm. Sabin won this title from Moose at Nitro 11 back in March. He's since defended it 4 times successfully. Could he make it a 5th here tonight? Also going down tonight is Drew McIntyre's defense of the WXW Unified Championship against someone who William Regal is going to bring in here. So 3 championships on the line here tonight. And we begin with Sabin, who, as I said, has just been phenomenal as champion since winning it. It's defended successfully against Low-Key, James Storm, Kalisto, and Claudio Castagnoli. So many amazing numbers to go along with Sabin's reign as champion. There was a time where he thought he would have to give up the title due to injury. He thought he might have to vacate it, but he was allowed to stay champion during the offseason, and he came back. And now the four men that he defended against were all men, beautiful double shooting star press. There were 4 men who hadn't made any appearances in season 2 at all since Sabin returned to GAW. And now Sabin again, standing shooting star press. Matt Riddle was all over it this time. So this is Sabin's first defense against a man who was actually here when Sabin returned, and now trying to win it quickly, Matt Riddle kicks out. Chris Sabin earlier here, but Matt Riddle has been absolutely no joke. Riddle defeated the Wildcat Chris Harris a couple weeks ago, and then last week dominates Taiji Ishimori, the former IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. Riddle has been as dominant as you like, but Chris Sabin taking the battle straight to Riddle. Diving splash from Sabin. Matt Riddle has no answer for the fire of Chris Sabin. Riddle attacked Sabin after his match with Castagnoli, a match that the Men in Black cost the Swiss Superman. Sabin was pissed. He's more pissed at Riddle. Riddle catches that right hand. Massive overhand chop. Riddle made serious contact with Sabin, now brings him down to a knee. Sabin has to fight out of it. He does. Sabin spent a lot of time locked in a Matt Riddle submission after his match with Castagnoli. I think he might still be recovering from it now. Riddle is going to go to work, and it starts with the ground and pound for Riddle, a disciple of Aleister Black and the House of Black. Riddle has become so good. His offensive firepower is nothing to mess with, but neither is Chris Sabin. And now he uses the modified street cutter. He's used it so many times. Hooks the leg, Riddle kicks out at 2. Chris Sabin has made that a huge part of his arsenal. And now he's got something else in the tank. He's got Riddle up on the shoulders. Maybe a cradle shock incoming, but Riddle comes down off the shoulders. Riddle's gonna go up top. Chris Sabin is now in the drop zone for a flying Matt Riddle. High cross. And now Matt Riddle's the one who's gonna go to work against Sabin. Riddle up against the, oh no. Oh no. Matt Riddle did the same thing to Ishimori. Matt Riddle absolutely drives the knee into the face of Chris Sabin. Matt Riddle hooks the leg. Sabin grabs the rope just in time. Riddle cannot believe it. The match was over. That knee to the face. Sabin is out on his feet. Matt Riddle, he's got him in the wrist lock. Sabin answers back. What a left. Chris Sabin back on his feet and still fighting. He's got to shake off the cobwebs, though, after that knee from Riddle. Sabin barely survived. And now Riddle again up top. Matt Riddle with a massive senton bomb. Matt Riddle hooks the leg. Riddle to become champion. No! Riddle has taken full control. That knee to the face ended Sabin, and he is just powerless right now against the offensive assault of Riddle. Springboard kick, and there's still more. Oh, what a roundhouse. Riddle caught on that Sabin hadn't gone down. Riddle rolls him in. It's the submission from Matt Riddle. It's the twister from Riddle, and Chris Sabin has to tap out. We have a new champion. It was all Matt Riddle could do, but it was all Chris Sabin could take. Sabin goes out from the twister. Riddle truly ended the match with that knee. Sabin was done after that, but the champion had the wherewithal. Look, there's the other look. The champ had the wherewithal to grab the rope and stay in the match, give himself just one fighting chance. But Matt Riddle's offensive onslaught was too much. Matt Riddle has won in the Intercontinental Championship, and he's taking it back to the House of Black. No Aleister Black, no problem. Matt Riddle is the new champion. to the underground match. Garrett Gibson versus Braddock. Gibson, of course, came out the winner of the 3 strikes match against Lancelot. But instead of Lancelot going straight after a title, Gibson decided that he was going to answer the challenge from another underground legend. Braddock had told him that Gibson was not good enough. He wasn't an underground wrestler no matter how hard he tried to be. Gibson decided to answer that, and here we are in an underground match, the second that Gibson has had to fight in the last month. Of course, the first fall of the 3 strikes match was an underground match chosen by Garrett Gibson himself, the former Apex champion. So now here he is against Braddock. And you never know the unpredictable nature of matches like this. You just never know how it ends up, and will it end up well for Gibson? A normal underground wrestler walking in against Gibson right now. Braddock has firepower like you would not believe. We've seen it already. He came the closest to defeating Santanico, ending his undefeated run and taking the Raw Championship. He was unsuccessful in that, but only barely. He really gave Santanico a test. And now it's time for him to test Garrett Gibson as well. Gibson, the ribs are taped up, you can see. That's from a Braddock attack last Monday. So Gibson still reeling from that. The rules of the underground match, if you don't remember from the 3 strikes contest, it's pinfall, submission, or knockout anywhere in the arena. But there's more to it. It's not just the rules of the fall that are different. The entire mentality is different. Underground matches are exceedingly violent. And I don't just mean with weapons and such. It's the mentality of these men. It's the never stop mentality, which is the very thing that Braddock claims Gibson does not have. That's why he can't be an underground wrestler. Gibson, for his part, acknowledged that he was never trained in the underground style. He didn't do it the way that everyone else, or a lot of other guys in Evolution have done. But what Gibson said, if Evolution is going to be the home of the underground, then I am going to be an underground wrestler. This is the exact time to prove it. Braddock sends him over, and now the underground legend gonna try to go to work on the outside. I told you how violent these matches can become. You'll see very few pinfall attempts, very few submission attempts. That's the underground style. You do not give your opponent any chance for any kind of momentum. Garrett Gibson very nearly made that mistake against Lancelot in the 3 strikes match. Now Gibson himself has the Singapore cane, and Gibson's second time's the charm, but Braddock able to withstand. Braddock got the hands up to block the initial kendo stick strike, and now Braddock, Gibson learns. Braddock went in for what looked like that big thrust kick that took Gibson down earlier. And now Braddock goes after the knee. It's all legal. Gibson to his feet. Braddock targets the taped up ribs. And again, Braddock goes right after. He shattered the kendo stick over the top. Now Gibson, All-American clothesline. He's caught with the cover. Braddock is in control. That's a throwback to the current Apex champion, another man who had so much success on the underground, Derek Cole and his cold cut. Now Braddock power bomb on the barricade. No mercy. And you know how bad the injuries had to be for Gibson to actually show what they are. In his tune-up match last week, Gibson came out with his full jacket on, didn't want Braddock to know anything. So that's how bad the injury must be, that he's allowing Braddock to see the weakness. Braddock targeted it with that body shot. Gibson saw coming. Braddock trying to go in again. Gibson giving it away from the body. Now Braddock takes him down on the cross knee. Gibson fighting hard, but Braddock is just too much at the moment. Now he's got that stop sign. Good Lord. That is very underground, using the stop sign. Underground wrestlers have been known to use literally anything they can find, whatever is next to them. So men have been known to literally pull stop signs off of the posts and use them. Now Braddock again targeting the ribs. Gibson in immense pain. As Braddock again, the Singapore cane, and again, Braddock goes right after the ribs. One shot. Braddock very proud of himself. The fans not too happy with what he's done, but now Braddock, oh, I thought maybe he was gonna fly, or maybe he will. Braddock over the top. Gibson gave him the nope treatment. Braddock even tried the misdirection. Garrett Gibson read it all the way. And that might be the mistake that Garrett Gibson needed to get back in this match after multiple attacks to the injured ribs. Gibson, fall away slam. He used it against Lancelot and the stack. Gibson, he's got not enough. First cover of the match from either man. It's come almost 10 minutes in. Now Garrett Gibson going after the table. Braddock to his feet, he's right back down. There is a killer mentality for both men right now. And Gibson has retaken control of the match after Braddock went for one move too many. Tried to go for a spectacular springboard dive to the outside, but Garrett Gibson somehow had him read. And now Gibson, oh, Braddock again going at the body. Braddock knows where it'll hurt the former champion. The damage from earlier might be catching up to Gibson as Braddock pulls a ladder out from underneath. The fans love it. Gibson hesitates to get close, and that's why. Braddock using the ladder as a physical weapon against Garrett Gibson, and now up onto the shoulder. Gibson comes down to the other side. Gibson picks him up, power slam position. Garrett Gibson, power slam onto the edge of the ladder. Braddock's shoulder caught it. Oh my God. A one count after that. Gibson, knife edge chop, Braddock ducked underneath. And again, more targeting of the body. Braddock, at what point is Gibson just not able to deal with it? Braddock, air raid crash. At what point do the attacks from Braddock become too much to overcome? Because right now, Gibson already unhealthy going in, and Braddock is again lighting him up. This time with a chair, Braddock has used everything not nailed down to try to go at Garrett Gibson. Stands him up again. Now Braddock up onto the shoulders. Oh my God! Braddock, Samoan drop onto the ladder. He's grinding Garrett Gibson's face into the edge, and Gibson somehow kicked out. I don't know how he does it. The toughness of this man. But remember, it is referee's discretion now. We saw it in the 3 strikes match. The referee can't make the decision to call for the stoppage. Oh, Gibson! Right hand into the chair, punched it out of Braddock's hands. Braddock again, and this time Gibson can do nothing about it. Gibson rolls out of the way, that shot Gibson! The boot! Somehow able to get away from Braddock's attacks, somehow able to work through these ribs, which just have to be on fire at the moment. And we saw it against Lancelot. The referee called for a stoppage after an All-American clothesline in the backstage area. And now Gibson, belly to belly suplex over the top rope. And Braddock came within inches of going through that table as well. Now Gibson backs him up. And Braddock, after so many attacks, able to elbow Gibson out of the way. After so many attacks, Braddock finally starting to feel some punishment and a cover here out of pure desperation, and it nearly got the 3 count. No submissions yet from either man. As of yet, the referee seems willing to let these men compete. Samoan drop. And Braddock, I think, inadvertently knocked the table down. He's going to go back to the Singapore cane. And it's Old Faithful attacking the ribs. Once again, Braddock gets 2 canes that he has shattered over what are now the surely broken ribs of Garrett Gibson. Braddock resets that table that Garrett Gibson retrieved, it feels like 100 years ago. And there will be history books written about this match. And if Garrett Gibson does somehow overcome, but right now, Braddock powerbomb. No, it's the slingshot. Always keep them guessing. It's a core tenet of underground wrestling. Braddock is living by it right now. And Gibson in the corner. Braddock, big running start and a boot. Surprising flexibility from Braddock. Now the first cover in the ring of the entire match. Gibson kicks out at 2. Braddock, I think, starting to get surprised that Gibson is able to survive so long. Oh, that is gross. If ever there was a time that the referee should stop this match, it would be now. Braddock knows what he's done. He gave the referee a second. Gibson says he's ready to keep going, and boy is he. Catches the right hand of Braddock. Now Gibson throws him over the top. Braddock right into the table. It was an awkward landing for Braddock as he went over the top. How Garrett Gibson is still able to function in this match, I have no idea. Gibson sets up the table, but Braddock waits behind him. Gibson didn't realize it. Now Braddock. There's got to be a turning point here. There has to just be an off switch. Braddock again with the suplex into the ring post. The T-bone suplex. Garrett Gibson went for multiple All-American clotheslines. None of it worked. Now up against it is Gibson. Up against the table, Braddock popped up, powerbomb through the table. And in its wreckage, Braddock rolls him over. Braddock, no! Braddock now facing down the referee, as if to say, how is that not 3? And I'm kind of with him on this. How is it not? Now Braddock just going for a cover after everything, and it's a 1. Gibson's toughness cannot be overstated. Gibson, beautiful takedown now. Rolls Braddock into a cover. Again quickly this time. Only a 1 count. It's unbelievable to watch, and Braddock, you can see the speed. Gibson just cannot compete at the moment. Too much damage has been done. And now Braddock will scale. Braddock will fly. Braddock missile drop kick, and Gibson sent him to the ground in a hellacious headbutt. There is not an ounce of give up in this man. There may not be an ounce left of this man by the end of this match, but he doesn't care. Garrett Gibson pulled the same trick Braddock just did. Fakes him out as if he's gonna fly. Braddock with the clothesline and missed, and Gibson with another headbutt. Braddock to his feet, Gibson All-American clothesline. Braddock ducks it. How well do these men know each other? How prepared are they? Gibson sends him into the steps. Talk about an attack to the body. Now Gibson picks up that top step. Gibson just knocks it down. I told you the violence of a match like this, it's almost shocking to witness. Braddock somehow is conscious after having those steps thrown on him, and now Braddock sleeper suplex. Braddock is now going for a cover after every move. We went almost 10 minutes in this match without a single cover. Now Braddock has had 3 in his last 4 offensive attacks. Braddock is starting to get desperate, knowing that Gibson has somehow survived everything. And now back into the ring. Braddock trying to do something unpredictable. Braddock with a drop kick, but he paid the price. Now up top, Braddock splash. Gibson got the knees up. Braddock came down. Gibson, ripcord knee strike. And Braddock up to his feet. All-American clothesline. And Gibson is not even done. Braddock to his feet. Gibson, All-American clothesline. It's 2 in a row. Garrett Gibson, he's got the leg. Garrett Gibson has won. The Manhattan Center cannot believe it. And neither can I. Garrett Gibson has survived an underground legend, and in his second attempt, he has grabbed his second underground match win. It takes many, many years to achieve that feat. Let's go backstage now to our host, Stefford Drummond, who's standing by with a special guest. Standing with the smartest man in wrestling, William Regal. And Will, are you really that smart? What's the capital of Botswana? You know, Stefford, I'm glad you asked that. Not because I know, of course, but because it betrays a fundamental issue with the way people think about intelligence. That's not really what I asked. You didn't have to. People seem to believe that intelligence is book knowledge. Do you know this equation? Do you know this capital? Do you know the Prime Minister of Denmark in the year 1820? But real intelligence is not something you could use your smartphone to find out in seconds. Real intelligence comes with the work ethic and dedication that you only develop through years of back-breaking training and suffering. Real intelligence helps you win wrestling matches, and that's what Drew McIntyre developed in the European Crucible. You've gone off the rails now. Frankly, I don't know why you're still here, Mr. Drummond, as you clearly don't have an appreciation or understanding of the finer art of professional wrestling. I spent decades of my life shortening my time on this planet, the only life I will ever have, just to learn more about winning wrestling matches. Now I have found a man who will continue that work and expand that knowledge. That is European wrestling, Mr. Drummond. I don't know if you only get one life. When I fell into that acid bath at the factory, I swear I saw some past lives in there. Was one of them a man who was tarred and feathered in the town square? Yeah, actually, why do you ask? I think we're done here, Mr. Drummond. Castagnoli asked for this match. It was the men in black that attacked him during his match with Chris Sabin for the Intercontinental Championship, a match that it seemed as though he had won. But the men in black interfered. Castagnoli challenged them to a 2-on-1 match. I don't know how smart it is. I don't know what his odds are, but Castagnoli is a fighter, that much I know, and he will not stand down for something like that. No music. The men in black. Because what else can you call them? You can't see an inch of skin. But the dangerous, the intimidating black of the shirts, the pants, the gloves, the masks. These men are responsible for Castagnoli in all likelihood not being the Intercontinental Champion right now. We saw earlier on that Chris Sabin is now no longer the Intercontinental Champion. But it seems as though these men are not connected to the House of Black, although of course, Aleister Black did say that he was on the recruiting trail. Is this all some grand deception from Black? Or are these men truly unaffiliated? Or do they work for someone else? I mean, there's no limit to the deception that some men in GAW are capable of. And it's a 2-on-1 match right here. Castagnoli must surely know that he's going up against long odds right now, but he doesn't care. Immediately overpowers this one. I don't even know how to tell the difference between them. It looks as though one of them is taller. That's all I can tell. But Castagnoli has to know how difficult this match will be. Not that he cares. And obviously he'll have all the fans of the Manhattan Center on his side. That much is clear. As he's sent into the corner. Now it's not clear what will happen if Castagnoli loses this match. Of course, the challenge included that Castagnoli, should he win, would get to remove the masks of these men. But should he lose, is there any consequence? There has been no word on the part of the men in black, as the second one now in the match, the shorter one I should say, as Castagnoli gets him up under the shoulders. Incredible strength from Claudio. He's got to overcome two men, but if there's any man with the ability to do it, it is Claudio Castagnoli. Deadlift, military press. Castagnoli, up he goes, and down he comes with the knee drop. Cover from Castagnoli, looking for a miracle win, and it's a kick out. I do wonder if vision is going to become an issue for these men. Standing shooting star press, and another one, but Castagnoli saw it. Chris Sabin pulled that same trick earlier on the double standing shooting star, and now he ducks underneath the right hand from Castagnoli. It was coming in heavy, and now pump handle half Nelson driver. Cover after a hellacious slam, Castagnoli kicks out. High velocity right on the back of the neck, and now into the corner, tag in. Here comes the other one. Irish whip off, and it's going to be a double back body drop. The taller one in. And now Castagnoli up to his feet, and he's jettisoned from the ring. Out he goes, and wait a minute, that's DJZ, he's coming down. He's hit Castagnoli with the chair. The men in black are distracting the referee. DJZ is lining up Castagnoli on the outside. A disgusting attack, and DJZ sends him back in. And Castagnoli into the corner. Tag in this match. It's gotta be over. Enziguri, side Russian leg sweep combination for the men in black. And they have a win. That is disgusting. As DJZ helps them out. But wait, gotta get you back in the ring. They have taken their masks off. As again, with the side Russian leg sweep, Enziguri combination. And it's Raul Mendoza and Phantasma. That is the identity of the two men that have destroyed Castagnoli for the last several weeks. They've beaten him in a 3-on-1. Mendoza and Phantasma celebrate. DJZ was the man who delivered them the victory. Unbelievable. Mr. McIntyre, I haven't told you who it is you'll be facing in this match for a reason. Life is unpredictable. The churn is unpredictable. If you are not prepared, if you are not at your best every single day, you will not survive. One of the greatest pieces of wisdom I've heard actually comes from an American, John Wooden, a basketball coach. He said he didn't allow his team to watch their opponents because it would distract them from the task at hand. If they played to the best of their ability, they would beat anyone. The team he coached, Mr. McIntyre, was the greatest team in the history of the sport. This is what I want you to take to heart. Drew McIntyre can beat anyone, no matter who they are. You will need all of your skill to beat your opponent today. But should you do it, you will be immortal.
God save our Queen.
One of the most successful, one of the most renowned European wrestlers in the modern age. And William Regal has brought him in to face Drew McIntyre. No doubt, McIntyre will need every bit of his skill to defeat Barrett here today. The WXW title is on the line, and it's one of the greatest wrestlers of all time that steps in to fight for it. For the first time, William Regal, the smartest man in wrestling, accompanies Drew McIntyre.
Come on, let's go!
McIntyre, anointed by Regal as the King of Europe. And he has the WXW Unified Championship to match. There's been so much talk about the European wrestling, the European style. McIntyre embodies it. But of course, that was also a topic of conversation when it came to the three-way match coming up later this week. Will Ospreay, Marty Scurll, and Davey Richards. The identity of European wrestlers and how much pride they take in where they come from was a major topic of argument. It allowed that match to happen. But according to William Regal, not one of those men can touch Drew McIntyre, the King. But in order to consolidate that crown, McIntyre will have to defeat one of the toughest men in the history of this sport. William Regal knows all too well the toughness of Wade Barrett, a 20-year veteran. But McIntyre, the steely-eyed glare, he is ready. Regal in his corner, Barrett 2 shots, McIntyre 3 shots, Barrett 4 shots. The toughness of these Europeans, McIntyre 5 shots, and the go behind by the German. McIntyre comes out the better of that exchange. And here in New York, in the Manhattan Center, it's a show straight from across the pond. And Barrett already adding stuff to his game. I've never seen him throw a thrust kick before. He just hit that one to the back of McIntyre's head, and now Barrett might have been looking for that bull hammer. McIntyre ducked right underneath it and slid straight through to the ropes. It is not often that McIntyre has to look up at an opponent, but Wade Barrett measured in for this match at 6'8". This is a massive individual with the strength to match. It's only going to make it harder for McIntyre. But this is what Regal said. Barrett's got McIntyre up onto the shoulders. And a massive discus punch. Regal said that McIntyre will need all of his skills to defeat Wade Barrett here today. I think that much is very, very clear. Barrett pulls McIntyre on top. Barrett up to the top. Oh my God. I told you Barrett's added something to his game. Are you serious? McIntyre kicks out. The fans shouting their approval of Barrett, who just pulled off a balancing thrust kick to McIntyre, and now Barrett diverted his attention for a second, and McIntyre made him pay. You cannot take your eyes off Drew McIntyre. Barrett made the mistake, able to fight off his back and ground McIntyre again. You will not get away with this. Very much against McIntyre. Big boot. McIntyre turns it aside. Now McIntyre sends him through the ropes. Barrett to his feet. McIntyre's gonna fly. McIntyre with the tope con hero. The Manhattan Center has lost its mind. These two men have blown the roof off a battle at Broadway. And boy, is this ever a battle. This is European wrestling at its absolute finest. McIntyre, cover after an incredible tope. Barrett kicks out. It is incredible to think that a style of wrestling that is so often synonymous. Oh, Barrett again turns his back on Drew McIntyre, and now McIntyre got him from behind. McIntyre, schoolboy now. Barrett kicked out. This style of wrestling is so often connected with lots of submissions, very slow, kind of plodding ground game attacks. Not so here. This is the other side of European wrestling. Spinning side slam, and where was the referee? William Regal had him distracted. Regal obviously helping McIntyre, who again takes the upper hand. This is the advantage to having William Regal with you. McIntyre has taken full advantage of it. Left hand turned aside. Claymore attack, countered by a thrust kick. Is that a chair? Did William Regal just slide in a chair? Barrett now has McIntyre wasteland. Chair or no? This time the count will get made. We have a new champion now. Referee hasn't had the opportunity to get that chair out of the ring. McIntyre just went knees first into it. Finally, the referee has noticed, but he's dropped it because Wade Barrett looks as though he might go straight after McIntyre here. Low blower. And McIntyre rolls over onto the edge. Barrett again. Barrett no. McIntyre has to shake off the cobwebs. Now the referee has tossed the chair out. And McIntyre back after Wade Barrett. Short arm clothesline. McIntyre has survived. Still, he's in it now. McIntyre double underhooks. Future shot. Hooks the leg. McIntyre retains. No. Barrett kicks out. Up to his feet again. Knife edge chop. Barrett just turns it aside. But McIntyre again. He's caught. Barrett spinning side slam again. Now Barrett short arm clothesline is countered. McIntyre saw him coming all the way. Irish whip off. Here comes Barrett. McIntyre ducks underneath. Shoulder tackle. Barrett stays on his feet. Knife edge chop. Barrett's still there. Again. Barrett's still up. Now Barrett answers. One stretch. McIntyre turns it aside. McIntyre rolls him through. Ripcord knee strike. This is the side of European wrestling that William Regal and Drew McIntyre are showcasing for the world. It's the striking, it's the athleticism. But can McIntyre hold on? Barrett answers. Barrett off the ropes. Big boot. He was looking for a claymore. McIntyre sends him backwards. Now Barrett trapped against the ropes. McIntyre going after the arm. One that maybe Barrett could use for that dangerous bullhammer. We've seen it before. Barrett answers. Barrett off the ropes. McIntyre claymore. Barrett might have been looking for a bullhammer. He met a claymore instead. Barrett making his GAW debut. Of course, it was a WXW sanctioned match, but all the same, it happened in a GAW ring. It's unbelievable to think about, and there's the top-down view of the Claymore that ended the night. McIntyre holds that championship high again. It started on the first episode of Friday Night Storm when McIntyre defeated Tristan Archer. And now he's just defeated a legend of the European game. And William Regal was right. This may be the King of Europe.